Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Gaura Vaishnavanda ki jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai Shri Vrindavanam ki jai Shri Maya Parnavidam ki jai Ganga Maya ki jai Jamuna Maya ki jai Tulsi Devi ki jai Bhakti Devi ki jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai Harinam Sankirtan ki jai Gau Premanandi all glorious summer devotees, all glorious summer devotees, all glorious summer devotees. All glorious to Shri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, The Passing Away of Bhishmadev, text number 6 and 7. Parvato Narado Domyo Bhagavan Badarayana Brihadasvo Bharadvaja Sasisyo Renuka Sutta Vasista Indrapamadas Trito Gritsamado Sita Kaksivan Gautamo Tris Cha Kausiko Tha Sudarshana Parvato Nardo Domyo Bhagavan Padarayanaha Brihadashvo Bharadvaja Sasisyo Renukasuta Vasista Indra Pramadas Trito Grisamatosita Kaksivan Gautamo Trischa Kausikota Sudarshana Parvato Nardo Domyo Bhagavan Badarayana Bihadashvo Bharadvaja Sasisyo Renukasuta Vasista Indra Pramadas Trito Kritsa Madhosita Kaksivhang Gautamo Trischa Kausikota Sudarsanaha Marvato Nardo Domyo Just the first verse. Matajis. Narada, Narada, Namya. Bhagavan Badarayana. Bhagavan Badarayana. Brihadasa Bharadvaja. Parvata, Parvata Muni. Narada, Narada Muni. Domya, Domya. Bhagavan, incarnation of Godhead. Badarayana, Vyasadeva. Brihadasva, Brihadasva. Bharadvaja, Bharadvaja. Sasisya, along with disciples. Renuka Sutta, Parasaram. Vasista, Vasista. Indrapamada, Indrapamada. Trita, Trita. Gritsamada, Gritsamada. Asita, Asita. Kaksivan, Kaksivan. Gautama, Gautama. Atriti, Atri, Cha. And Kausika, Kausika. Atta, as well as Sudarshana, Sudarshana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now there's 5 pages of purport here. So I think I'm going to read almost a couple, and maybe we could just go on as the days go on here. All the sages like Parvata Muni, Narada, Domya, Vyas, the incarnation of God, Brihadasva, Bharadvaj, and Parasaram, and disciples, Vasista, Indrapamad, Trita, Grit, Samada, Asita, Kaksivan, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, and Sudarshana were present. Purport. Parvata Muni is considered to be one of the oldest sages. He is almost always a constant companion of Narada Muni. They are also spacemen, competent to travel in the air without the help of any material vehicle. Parvata Muni is also a Devarshi, or a great sage amongst the demigods, like Narada. He was present along with Narada at the sacrificial ceremony of Maharaj Janmejaya, a son of Maharaj Parikshit. In this sacrifice, all the snakes of the world were to be killed. Parvata Muni and Narada Muni are called Gandharvas also because they can travel in the air singing the glories of the Lord. Since they can travel in the air, they observe Draupadi's Swayamvara ceremony, selecting of her own husband from the air. Like Narada Muni, Parvata Muni also used to visit the royal assembly in the heaven of King Indra. As a Gandharva, sometimes he visited the royal assembly of Kuvera, one of the important demigods. Both Narada and Parvata were once in trouble with the daughter of Maharaj Srinjaya. Maharaj Srinjaya got the benediction of a son by Parvata Muni. Narada Muni is inevitably associated with the narrations of the Puranas. He is described in the Bhagavatam. In his previous life, he was the son of a maidservant, but by good association with pure devotees, he became enlightened in devotional service, and in the next life, he became a perfect man comparable with himself only. In the Mahabharata, his name is mentioned in many places. He is the principal Devarsi, or the chief sage amongst the demigods. He is the son and disciple of Brahmaji, and from him the disciplic succession in the line of Brahma has been spread. He initiated Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and many celebrated devotees of the Lord. He initiated even Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literatures, and from Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya was initiated. And thus the Madhva Sampradaya, in which the Gaudiya Sampradaya is also included, has spread all over the universe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to this Madhva Sampradaya, therefore Brahmaji, Narada, Vyas, down to Madhva, Chaitanya, and the Goswamis all belong to the same line of the disciplic succession. Naradaji has instructed many kings from time immemorial. In the Bhagavatam, we can see that he introduced or instructed Prahlad Maharaj while he was in the womb of his mother, and he instructed Vasudeva, father of Krishna, as well as Maharaj Yudhisthira. Daumya, a great sage who practiced severe penances at Utkachoka Tirtha and was appointed royal priest of the Pandava kings. He acted as the priest in many religious functions of the Pandavas, samskaras, and also each of the Pandavas was attended by him at the betrothal of Draupadi. He was present even during the exile of the Pandavas and used to advise them in circumstances when they were perplexed. He instructed them how to live incognito for 1 year, and his instructions were strictly followed by the Pandavas during that time. His name is mentioned also when the general funeral ceremony was performed after the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In the Anusasana Parva of Mahabharata 127, 15, 16, he gave religious instructions very elaborately to Maharaj Yudhisthira. He was actually the right type of priest, of a householder, for he could guide the Pandavas on the right path of religion. A priest is meant for guiding the householder progressively in the right path of ashram dharma, or the occupational duty of a particular caste. There is practically no difference between the family priest and the spiritual master. The sages, saints, and brahmanas were especially meant for such functions. Om Jnanatamandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshu Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukham Kotavachalang Pangum Langai Tegarim Yat Kripataraham Bande Shiguru Dhinataranam Banchikapa Tribhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I beg for the blessings of all the Vaishnavas that I could say something which is beneficial for all of us. This is an assembly of incredibly advanced devotees. Parvata Muni, Narada Muni. Of course, Narada Muni in the Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter, the opulence of the Supreme, Narada is mentioned as one of the opulences of Krishna, as the sage amongst all the demigods. So it's extremely exalted Vaishnava. And it's interesting, we were discussing the other day how they got this information about Bhishma's passing away, because he's, this people coming from all around the universes, and it's mentioned here that they were spacemen. They're flying around, and sometimes they just appear Like Prabhupada gave an example of he had heard how people would, these yogis, they would go in one river and then come up from another river. So they would just go down, they would just appear. So some of these Vaishnavas just appeared. Also, they didn't have to fly around, just appeared by their mystic abilities. So some people may think, well, how is this possible? They can just fly around or just appear. No, it's not that difficult to understand. I mean, even there's insects that can just fly around. Not a big deal. So there's personalities that have these cities, these mystic cities, and there's Siddhaloka where everybody flies around. That'd be pretty amazing. Everybody is just flying around. So Narada Muni, Parvata Muni, they had this ability. Now Krishna, he is known as the master of all mystics. But do we know of any instance where Krishna flew around? I don't think there's anywhere mentioned in the Bhagavatam where Krishna flew around. But I'll tell you an interesting book distribution pastime in this regard. Archita Prabhu received a phone call from one lady, and she said she wanted to sponsor the prasadam for all the devotees for that day. And he said, oh, that's very nice of you. And what's your name? He gave her name, and well, I never heard of you. You've been to the temple? She said, maybe, yeah, once or twice. And he asked, well, why are you so inspired to sponsor prasadam for all the devotees? And she said, well, Krishna is very kind to me. He said, oh, how was that? She said, I died when I was 7 years old. And in my subtle body, I was taken around. I was flying around. I was taken around by this personality all over the place. And then he brought me back into my body. And all my relatives were just amazed. And I was amazed. When I was 50 years old, one devotee was distributing books, and he showed me a picture of Krishna in that book. And as soon as I saw Krishna, I knew that's the person that took me around. So I bought all the books that he had. I ordered the Srimad Bhagavatam. I ordered the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I have every book that Prabhupada has written. And I'm retired now, so I just read Prabhupada's books. That's all I do. Yeah. So this is a pretty amazing pastime. Krishna flies around too sometimes. Krishna can do anything. So Narada Muni, he is an especially great sage. He's actually my hero. He's such an amazing personality. He, as it's mentioned here in the purport, he preached to Prahlad Maharaj, which also was quite interesting. You know, Prahlad's mother was there at the palace, and the demigods understood that Hiranyakasipu was doing sacrifices, doing austerities, and so they thought, well, this is a good time to conquer the demons. So they went and they ransacked their whole palace and you know, did a huge conquering scene there. And then they saw the wife of Hiranyakasipu, and they thought, well, they saw she's pregnant, so let's take her. And Narada Muni shows up, and he says, what are you doing? Well, this is the wife of Hiranyakasipu. We're going to take her. We're not going to harm her. We're going to wait till she has the child, then we're going to kill the child. Because Hiranyakasipu is such a big demon. You can imagine the son. He's going to be another huge demon. So Narada Muni said, even with all the strength of the demigods, you'll not be able to kill this child. because it's a great Vaishnava. As soon as the demigods heard those words from Narada Muni, they let her go, and they all circumambulated the wife of Hiranyakasipu, understanding by the words of Narada Muni that there's a great Vaishnava in her womb. And then Narada took her to his residence, a cave, I guess, and he preached to her. Now Prahlad's in the womb, and he's hearing this divine preaching, divine instructions of Narada Muni. He's hearing. And not only is he hearing, he's retaining it. He remembers it, and becomes, of course, the great Vaishnava, Prahlad Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj also. Dhruva Maharaj, he was so upset because his father wouldn't allow him on his lap. And he was a kshatriya, so he was furious actually. And he went to his mother, completely disturbed, completely distressed. What do I do? And she said, there's nothing I can do. I'm not the favorite of your father. There must be something I can do. Well, you can go to Krishna. Where do I find Krishna? Yeah, sages, they go to the forest. So he went to the forest and he started meditating. Narada Muni shows up. What are you doing? You're just a child, 5 years old. Go play, do this some other time. This is not for youth, Youth is time for play, joy. Don't take this offense so seriously. And Dhruva Maharaj said, thank you for your instruction, but it's not entering my heart. Please, if you can help me in any way, please do. If not, then go on your way. So then he gave some mantra, he chanted, a mantra that we quite often chant. So he perfected his life in a short time by the instruction of Narada Muni. Such a powerful sage, just constantly traveling, preaching. And there's a reason why he's constantly traveling and preaching. There was one Prajapati Daksha, who his service was to procreate, expand the living entities in the universe. So he had these sons, 10,000 Haryashvas, and he sent them to the forest to do sacrifice, austerities, and they were going to procreate. So Narada Muni, Trikaligya, this is another reason that a lot of the sages here knew about this, is they're Trikaligya, they know past, present, and future. So they know a lot. So Narada Muni, he understood what was going on here with these Haryasvas. So he went and he preached to them. And he preached to them so nicely that they decided to not go into household life. He said, why waste your life? Why waste the human form of life and just becoming entangled? Just make this life your last life. Take sannyas. They all took sannyas. 10,000 of them. It's powerful preaching. So then Daksha, he heard about this. He was very upset. Very upset. Because his service is being interrupted. You could kind of understand that. So then he had more sons. Sarvalashvas. 1,000 of them. And he told these sons to do the same. Go to the forest, perform austerity, sacrifice. And they went to the forest and they're doing their austerities. Narada Muni shows up again. And he preaches to them. And one of his tactics was, your brothers, they all took sannyas. you should follow in the footsteps of your big brothers. So they did. They all took sannyas. 11,000 all took sannyas by the powerful preaching of Narada Muni. So Narada Muni thought of going and preaching to Daksha, because when people are distressed, it's a good time to hear the message of Krishna. Well, Daksha was distressed, but he wasn't so distressed. He was very upset at Narada Muni. He was so upset with Narada Muni that he cursed him. Now this is after Daksha had already lost his head in a previous life because he offended Lord Shiva. So now he's cursing Narada Muni. What was his curse? His curse was, you cannot stay in one place more than 3 days. So Narada Muni thought, well, that's a blessing. That's a nice benediction. And in the purport here, in this area, Prabhupada mentions, I also have been cursed by the parents of my disciples. I cannot stay. I have so many temples, so many palaces I could stay, but I cannot stay. Many parents complained to Prabhupada. You've taken my son out of college. He had a bright future ahead of him. Now this is what you've done. Many parents complained to Prabhupada, so he couldn't stay in one place too long. So, and another amazing preaching program Narada Muni had, he was in the forest. And he saw all these animals, half dead, and with arrows in them. He's thinking, who could possibly do this? So finally, he saw Mrigari. And Narada Muni had scared the animals away that he was going to kill or to shoot. And he complained to Narada Muni, sage, please, you're coming, you're disturbing my activities here. And Narada Muni asked him, why? Why are you half killing them, causing them so much pain? And Mrigari said, well, this is the way I've been raised by my father. This is my livelihood. This is what I do. Mrigari means enemy of the animals. So Narada Muni said, please, just do me one favor. Don't half kill them. Kill them all the way. And Mrigari said, well, why? Because you're causing so much pain to them. And you're also going to suffer to the same degree that you're causing suffering to them. You're going to suffer also. So Mrigari kind of like woke up and said, what? I never heard this. I'm going to suffer to the same degree as all these animals I'm killing? I said, yes. Well, so Mrigari asked him, so how can I avoid this reaction? So Narada Muni said, well, first you break your bow. But if I break my bow, how's my livelihood? How am I going to maintain? Don't worry. I'll maintain you. Break your bow. So he had so much faith in Narada Muni, he broke his bow. And he said, now, go to your place, distribute all your wealth to the brahmanas. And come here to the river, and you get a hut. You bring tosi, you live in this hut with your wife and one piece of cloth. And don't worry, everything will be all right. So he did that. Faith, he had faith in Narada Muni. And so many people were coming because they heard, news like this travels fast. So they heard that this Mrigari, the hunter, had become a Vaishnava. And so many people were coming. And they were leaving donations, giving prasadam and So many things. So sometime later, Narada Muni shows up with Parvata Muni. And Mrigari sees them from some distance, and he's running. He's running towards Narada Muni. He's so anxious to see Narada Muni. But as he's running, he's jumping this way and that way. And when he finally got to Narada Muni, he sees some ants in the way, and he's brushing them away with his cloth. So when he stands up, Parvata Muni is asking him, "Oh, you were running toward us, but you were running this way and that way, jumping here. Why?" He said, "Oh, I was seeing so many ants, so I didn't want to step on the ants. So I was avoiding stepping on the ants." So Parvata Muni was amazed by the preaching of Narada Muni. He said to Narada Muni, "You are a touchstone. Whatever you touch turns into gold, to Vaishnavas." So this is the power of a great Vaishnava. And who else? Vyasadeva. His disciple was Vyasadeva. Yeah. And therefore Srila Prabhupada says in one purport that Narada Muni is the original guru, because he's the guru of Vyasadeva, or he who wrote the Vedas. Vyasadeva one time asked Narada Muni, just like we also ask each other, "Narada Muni, how did you join?" Quite often we ask each other, "How did you join?" So he also wanted, "Hey, Narada Muni, how did you join?" So he told him the story. He was a young boy, 5 years old, son of a maidservant. And she had some guests that were great Vaishnavas. And he was serving these guests very, very, very nicely, with great humility. And they would offer remnants to him. And he would relish these remnants of prasadam, mahaprasadam, by these Vaishnavas. So for 4 months they were there. And he was serving them very nicely, very humbly, every day. And he said, from that association, from serving these Vaishnavas, in my next life, I took birth as Narada Muni. So that means there's hope for us, Prabhus. Yeah. He was born in a lowly family, son of a maidservant. Yeah. So we were also born into lowly families, but there's hope. If we serve the Vaishnavas, if we serve Krishna nicely, we also can get the mercy of Krishna. We can also become nice Vaishnavas, advanced souls, serving Krishna. So there's hope. And we should be very anxious to get this mercy of Krishna, so that we're sincere Vaishnavas. One devotee said, just as a baby bird that has not developed its wings yet is very anxiously waiting for the mother to come back and feed it and give the mother's association to the baby bird. And just as a newborn calf is tied so it can't go to the mother, the cow is being milked, and the calf is anxiously waiting to be set free so it can go and get the milk of its mother. So similarly, we should be very enthusiastic, very anxious to get this mercy of Krishna. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kriyatam yadikutopi labhyate tatraloyam apimuyam janma koti sukatirna labhyate. That this love for Krishna cannot be attained by performing pious activities for many millions of births, but it can be attained only by those persons who have intense desire. The word is loyam, greed, an intense desire to have this pure service of Krishna. It's called Tivra Bhakti. Tivra bhakti means intense devotion to Krishna. So we should also pray for this intense devotion for Krishna. You know, it's there, it's within us, but the more we pray for it, the more Krishna will be inclined to give it. I was just reading recently, Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna, he has 10 hands. If we're sincere, the benedictions he gives will far exceed our ambitions. You know? Krishna has 10 hands, and he can give so much. 10 hands he can take away. Right? He takes away and he gives. So if we're sincerely trying to serve Krishna, sincerely trying to please Krishna, he has 10 hands, and he'll give us so much that we'll be shocked that Krishna's given me so much mercy. Just like Prabhupada was amazed, this movement was growing so much. He went to the Mayapur festival, and devotees are showing him the different temples and the deities in the temples, and this is in 1975, and so there were so many temples, and Prabhupada was amazed. Krishna gave so much. So similarly, if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will give us so much mercy that we'll be astounded, we'll be amazed. And Krishna, he wants to give this mercy. For every one step we take towards Krishna, Krishna's taking 10 steps towards us. So he wants to give his mercy. We have to also want to have that mercy. Just like a devotee asked Prabhupada one time, and Prabhupada, how do we get your mercy? Prabhupada said, you just have to accept it. I'm always there giving my mercy to my disciples. But some are accepting and some are rejecting. Yeah. So we have to want that mercy, and Krishna he'll give it. Prabhupada also tells a story of someone who had this desire, was anxious to get Krishna's mercy. This is a type of mercy that we're not anxious to get, but anyway, he approached Krishna. There was one thief going through a village, and as he was going through the village, there was a brahmana speaking on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this thief was kind of like a pious thief. So he sat down to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And as this Brahman is speaking, he's saying how Krishna, he's in Vrindavan. And Krishna, he has many jewels on his body, and he's roaming the forests of Vrindavan. So this thief had a brilliant idea. I'll just go to Vrindavan, and I'll get these jewels, you know, from Krishna, and then I'll be set for life. I'll just praise Krishna and get these jewels. So he decided he went to Vrindavan, and he's calling out for Krishna, 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 and he's calling out. All day long he's calling out for Krishna. And finally, Krishna appears. Yes, I'm Krishna. Oh, Krishna. Oh, Krishna, so nice to see you. You're very beautiful. You have such beautiful jewels. But you're a boy. You don't need these jewels. Can you give me your jewels? No, I can't give you my jewels. My mother will be very upset if I give you my jewels. No, she has so many jewels. You don't need these jewels. Oh, no. My father will be more upset. I can't give you my jewels. Oh, Krishna, please, give me your jewels. No, I can't give you my jewels. And then Krishna, he's omniscient. He could understand. By his association with Krishna, he became a little purified. So then Krishna said, all right, you can have my jewels. No, Krishna, I don't want your jewels. Now I just want to serve you. He got purified. So we also can become purified by this contact with Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Okay. Any comment, Mars? Mars has a comment. Oh, Mars.
Thank you very much for a very insightful class and inspiring class, because this is what we want, to be inspired, as you mentioned, to desire, to serve, to love, to honor Krishna. So my question is what can we do to feel motivated to want just that? In other words, we have devotees, especially some of the newer persons, well, I just see a beautiful picture of this and that. I hear your nice classes, but I don't feel motivated like I am, for example, to go to a hockey game, like I am to go to a football game. How can you get me motivated in the same way so that I just have to want to serve Krishna?
Follow in your footsteps.
Joker.
Well, it's hearing, Shravanam Kirtanam. If we hear nicely, then we'll be inspired. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books, hearing the lectures of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's connected with Krishna. He's there with Krishna. So he gives so many wonderful realizations that inspire us to serve Krishna. So that's my personal, of course I don't have an intense desire to serve Krishna, but there's a
I
drop
think you do.
There's a drop there, and it's coming from association with Srila Prabhupada. Is that okay? He wants to say something. Arya Siddhanta. Or he is there.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the purport that you read that there's practically no difference between a family priest and a spiritual master. Could you explain that?
Well, back then, nowadays they have family priests, but they're like smarta brahmanas nowadays. But this is long back when the family priests were actually Vaishnavas. So a Vaishnava family priest and the guru were like one and the same. So they were very. But now it's Kali Yuga. So you go to India, and many people, they have their family priests, but they're not Vaishnavas. And I know of one devotee that came to our society, and nice devotee, very nice devotee. So I mentioned to him, when are you going to get initiated? He said, "Oh, I already have a family priest. I'm initiated." But he wasn't a Vaishnava. So I mentioned that to him. But you need a Vaishnava guru who can guide you towards Krishna. Because your family priest, he's not giving you guidance towards Krishna, right? He said, "Yeah, that's a good point." So then he took initiation from Radhanath Swami. So now he's doing very nicely in his devotional service. So, okay. Last question, yes, or comment.
In the translation, the word world is used, and I was wondering what word from the transliteration corresponds with that, and then
in
also
the translation, the word
world,
W-O-R-L-D. Okay, I don't see that word here in the translation. Oh, in the word for word, you mean?
it should be in the translation.
Nope.
They come to this world.
No, I don't see it. Anyway, it's late. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you for showing up. Had to do a few things.
It started to vibrate a little bit.